We are pretty good at growing food, and with a population of 7 billion people, we kind of have to be. Now, agriculture occupies roughly 1/3 of all land on Earth, and that land is used to produce relatively high yields, but we still lose a lot of our plants to pests. Conventional strategies often just spray broad-spectrum chemical insecticides to take out these pests, but those that survive the sprays will have resistance to the insecticide. They're able to develop, reproduce, and pass on that resistance to the next generation. Subsequent sprays are then unable to take care of our pests. Resistance like this can be seen in many pests, including the diamondback moth, which has developed resistance to every single insecticide that we have developed against it. Resistant pests have encouraged farmers to adopt alternatives like biological control. This involves the use of the natural enemies of our pests, like parasitoid wasps. Instead of developing into an adult moth, our caterpillars can be parasitized and develop into wasps. And these specifically targeted natural enemies can help us control our pests. But how much of an impact do these natural enemies have? And is this a viable and sustainable alternative to manage our pests into the future? Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to figure out. First, we look for what natural enemies occur on these organic farms. We do this in a standardized way by setting up pitfall traps in both the crop and the surrounding habitat nearby. To measure the impact of natural enemies, we set up field cage experiments with predator excluded and predator exposed larvae. We then record how these larvae die over time when exposed to predators. What I've found so far is that you can find a diversity of natural enemies in the edge habitat, and predators do play a significant role in controlling our pests. But the bulk of the work is done by parasitic wasps, which can parasitize up to 80% of the larvae that I've surveyed. Meanwhile, other predators, which are abundant in the field edge, are rare on the crop. Parasitic wasps, on the other hand, are actively released by farmers. These findings suggest that unless natural enemies are assisted by us, they struggle to survive in these landscapes. The next stage of my PhD is focused on how we can make this habitat more hospitable to natural enemies, so they can help us control our pests, feed the future, and bring diversity to an otherwise green desert.